What's up, lovers of whiskey and watchers of YouTube? I am the Malt Activist, and these are my top 10 whiskeys that you can buy for under £50. Price, it's a weird subject. What's expensive for somebody is not expensive for someone else. And normally what will happen is during some of my whiskey reviews, either I'll say, oh, well, this whiskey is really quite expensive. And someone in the comments will be like, okay, cheapskate, relax. Or I'll say, oh, this whiskey is quite cheap. And someone in the comments will be like, all right, Mr. Moneybags, take a chill pill. So there's no right or wrong with, what's expensive and what's cheap. But I think what we can do, right, is set a baseline. And for me, that baseline is £50 or 65 US or 70 US roughly, okay? And what I've done is I've done a bit of research with the UK online whiskey retailers, okay? And found out what are my favorite or go-to whiskeys that I can get for under £50. Now, I wish I could have done the same for North America, like US and Canada. But man, first of all, they have so many online retailers. It's crazy. But the biggest thing is prices vary so much because each state has its own laws and they have their own set of taxes. So something that costs $50 somewhere costs something like $100 somewhere else. So it would be a weird list to make if I chose the US or North America as a baseline sample. So for me, the easiest and most accurate research that I could do was with the UK online retailers. Now, I'm not going to name any of them because, hey, that's advertising and I should get paid for it, But I am not that kind of a blogger, right? I do it for you. The first whiskey on the list is the Old Pulteney 12, which comes in at a very, very reasonable $29.50 average. GBP, that is. And the reason I've selected this is because it is extremely palatable, very flavorful, delicious for sure. And you can keep on drinking this. This is, in my opinion, my first dram of the evening, right? This is when I want to set the mood for a good whiskey. I will pick up the Old Pulteney 12. Unfortunately, I don't have one on my shelf or in my bar because I've drunk it. And actually, this is a reminder for me to go and pick one up for myself. So if you're starting out and you're confused as to what to get, I think the Old Pulteney 12, which has an age statement, come on, right? That means something in today's day and age. The Old Pulteney 12 at $29.50 is, in my opinion, a no-brainer. So get yourself that. If you want to try the range of the Old Pulteney, the 15 and the 17 are also equally wonderful. So that's my advice. I don't know how much they cost, to be honest, and they're not part of this list, but the Old Pulteney 12 is. So yes, there you go. First whiskey. The second one on my list is absolutely one of my firm favorites, is the GlenDronach 12-year-old. This is one of my most favorite whiskeys ever. In fact, I did a little head-to-head long time ago with the Macallan 12 Sherry Oak. And this was, by a huge length, came out on top as the winner. Definitely lovely bang for your buck. Also, age statement, 12 years old. Don't forget that. Don't dismiss an age statement. In today's whiskey industry, it's a rarity and we should respect it when it comes with that. So this 12-year-old comes in at a lovely $33.45 average. 33 pounds 45p is what I've roughly estimated it at. So yeah, and this is matured in the finest Pedro Jimenez and Oloroso sherry cask from Spain. And GlenDronach, I think, is an underrated distillery, and I think this is an underrated whiskey as well. So find it, buy it, drink it. The third whiskey on our list is this giant, the Lefroy 10-year-old. This is the one that puts Islay on the map, whether you like it or not. This is probably the most drunk whiskey to come out of Islay, this 10-year-old. It still comes in with an age statement. Two things I don't like about this whiskey. Number one, it is colored, but that's corporate policy. There's nothing I can do with it. And it comes in at a measly 40%. Despite pointing out those two drawbacks, I have to tell you the Lefroy 10 is an absolute corker of a whiskey. And you know, when they say this is the most richly flavored of all Scotch whiskies, they're not lying. So I wish it was at a higher percentage. I wish it wasn't colored, but that's just me being a nerd. But for you, at £35, 90p, this is an absolute must and should be in your bar. In fact, it should be in everyone's bar. This next whiskey is from the same island, and this is the reason we drink whiskey today, the Kalila 12. And the reason I say this is because I think about 70-80%, if not more, Kalila stock goes into blends, especially Johnnie Walker. And because those guys are so successful and they sell so much of that blended whiskey, that we are able to drink this particular single malt. And the Kalila 12, such a fantastic dram, very buttery, very oily, lots of vanillas, hints of smoke. And again, you know, at what's the price? £37, 45p. You know, for that price, getting another age statement whiskey from Kalila, who I think are one of the best whiskey makers in the world. This is, and I keep saying this, is an absolute no-brainer. You know what? I'm going to just keep saying that. If it's a no-brainer, I'm going to say it's a no-brainer. I'm not going to find an alternative expression for that. Yes, it's a no-brainer. Make sure you get this. Put it on your bar. Yes, good whiskey. I know you're probably wondering, holy shit, he's stuck in Islay, but there's nothing you can do about this one. The Ardbeg 10-year-old. I mean, this is the quintessential whiskey that you have to have. I know I've said this about all the other whiskeys, but this one you really, really have to have, right? And again, age statement, it's a 10-year-old. And what I love about it is that it's evolved, right? It's become actually the newer stock, for some reason, is way better than the slightly older stock that I've tried. And so at, what's the price? £39, 90p average. It is an absolute no-brainer, right? And matured in bourbon barrels. It has the quintessential Ardbeg flavor profile of lemon and citrus and black pepper and white pepper and a hint of smoke and kippers and just everything good that is about that island you can find in this bottle. So please go out there, make sure it's sitting on your shelf. Your friends will thank you. Another whiskey that I don't have in my bar right now is the Balvenie 12 Double Wood, and it is one of my absolute favorite whiskeys in the world. It has just the most perfect sherry flavor profile. The nose, oh, just to die for. Sir David Stewart, who's the master distiller at Balvenie, he knows how to make a nose. Oh my God, he knows how to construct a nose. And this Balvenie 12-year-old Double Wood is no exception, and it is absolutely fantastic. And at £40 average, again, age statement, 12-year-old. At £40 is an amazing whiskey to have on your bar for your variety. I think it's a quintessential, and I'm using that word again, quintessential. I'm using quintessential and no-brainer. I think I should call this video the quintessential no-brainer whiskeys under £50. Anyway, but it is the quintessential, flavors of Speyside that you will find in that Balvenie 12 Double Wood. And believe me, no one I know has anything bad to say about this whiskey, and for all the right reasons, because it is an absolute stunner. And at what, £40? 100%, you have to get it. What? Get it? If you ever visit the Isle of Skye, please don't forget to visit Talisker, the only distillery over there. And this 10-year-old is one of the first whiskeys I ever drunk, by the way. And yes, it's smoky and it's peated, but it has its own unique flavor profile that is different from the Islay whiskeys. And it's a little more sweeter, in my opinion, a little more saltier, in my opinion. And it has this own extremely unique flavor profile that I think only Talisker can do. And it's a 10-year-old. an age statement, and what I like about it is that it's only available for £40 25p. I think that's a good price, and if you want variety on your shelf, then definitely this is the one to have. We are back on Islay for one more whiskey, and this is the Malt by Kilchoman. And the only thing I will say about this is, while this is an absolutely amazing whiskey, it does not have an age statement. However, newer bottlings are between 6 and 8 years old, roughly. That's what the distillery says. They used to be 4 and 5 years old, but they've kept upping the age in these whiskeys. So even though we might not have a conclusive age statement on this, I think roughly that's what the whiskeys are. But the reason I'm including it on this list is because Kilchoman is one of my favorite distilleries ever, and this particular whiskey, the Malt, hits all the good spots if you try it. And at 46%, I think definitely good value for money, and you will get this for an average of £43. Not bad. Quintessential. No brainer. Wow, I just realized I have one more Islay whiskey. This is the Port Charlotte 10-year-old. Ooh. Now you must be wondering, damn, this dude's stuck on Islay. But the thing is, they do produce great whiskeys, and apparently they price them really well as well. And this Port Charlotte heavily peated 10-year-old, age statement mind you, is absolutely amazing. It was my whiskey of the year last year, I think. And it is gorgeously constructed, and it is priced nicely at £43 25p average. And this will remind you of how good Ardbegs used to be. That's a controversial statement, I know, but that's what it reminded me of. Good Ardbegs that used to be made, which are not made anymore, unfortunately. So I am very, very interested in how this particular series is going to progress over the coming years. And at £43 25p, it is an absolute no-brainer, the quintessential whiskey to have in your bar, in my opinion. And coming in at 50% ABV. So good value for money. Yes, definitely get this one. And last but not the least, we have the Arran Quarter Cask Bothy. And the reason I'm including this on my list, even though it is not an age statement whiskey, it is the one with the highest percentage of alcohol at 56.2%. So this is at cask strength. This is quarter cask, which means it's been matured in smaller casks, and so it has massive flavor profile. I really like the stuff that Arran is doing recently. It is, however, the most expensive one on the list at £44 and 15p, and it is a non-age statement. So I'm going to leave this one with you if you think it's worth the money, given that it's a non-age statement whiskey. However, it is very, very delicious, and I have to admit that it is one of my favorite whiskeys that I've sort of come across in the last year or so, and I'm very impressed. So, which is why I included it on the list. However, yes, I agree with you. It's a non-age statement whiskey, and it is the most expensive whiskey on the list at £44 15p. But that's a call you are going to have to make. I personally like this. I endorse it. I think you should pick it up if your wallet allows you to. So yeah. And there you have it. 10 whiskeys that I think you should get, all under £50. It's a good way to start your whiskey collection or have stuff on your shelf without breaking the bank. And you can find these quite easily across multiple online retailers or even stores, I guess. And I think this gives you nice sort of overall coverage of flavor profiles and regions and what have you. And so the next time someone's over and you have a tasting to do, I'd be very happy to be part of this tasting. If we could do 1 to 10 all the way through, we'd be very drunk, of course, but that would be a fun evening, and not a single one of these whiskeys would be a dud, in my opinion. So Thank you. Thank you for watching this video. I'm the Malt Activist. Until next time. Peace.